We're going to be talking about becoming conscious, waking up, and some of the painful side effects or experiences that you can have that are challenging when you are going through that process, right? You can call it spiritual growing pains, you can call it just conscious living challenges. You go from being unconscious and asleep to waking up and being conscious. And there are some things that are inherent to that process that are a little bit difficult to deal with. I've been through all of them. Pretty much everyone I know who's gone through waking up and becoming conscious has been through them. Somebody was commenting on my YouTube channel about this, and I felt it was really, really timely and topical, so we're going to talk about it. So basically, I'm going to go through 4 specific things that we experience, and I just want you to know they're all totally normal, they're all totally natural. You can't escape them when you start to wake up and become conscious. So if you're going through it, there's nothing wrong with you. Okay, and I want you to feel like you've got a community around you who gets it, who's been through it too, and that you feel like you're not on your own, okay? And if you've already been through this, and you'll be knowing exactly what I'm talking about, and maybe you've popped out the other side and it's no longer an issue for you, you will know what I'm talking about, and you can be supportive to the people in your own community around you, your personal, professional, social network of anyone that you see struggling with these kind of things. We're all designed to wake up and be conscious human beings at some point, and our job is, once we have woken up, is to help others through that process, right? We're here, we're in this together. So the first challenge that's really normal when you are becoming conscious or being conscious is that you can sometimes suffer a loss of identity. So when you're unconscious, you are identified with your job and your positions and, you know, your roles and your responsibilities, and you have this kind of illusionary world created where you derive your validation and all these types of things. And then you start to become more conscious and wake up, and you start to realize those things don't necessarily have so much meaning to you anymore. Maybe they have no meaning. Maybe you start having your existential crisis and angst and trying to figure out who you are. And in that process, you can suffer this loss of identity. I went through that, and I went through that bad. Oh my gosh, out of all 4 things I'm going to share with you, that was probably the toughest for me. I went through a very, very painful loss of my identity. And the challenge is this: as you wake up and you become conscious and you go through a transition phase, if you experience a loss of identity, there is a period of time when you realize who you are not, but you have not figured out who you are. And that gap is where the pain is. And so you grapple trying to find a new identity, which is not really what it's about. And you come to figure that out for yourself on the journey. It's this allowing yourself to be in the world and not know who you are and not know everything, and to know that's okay. And in that process, what happens is you do start to come home to your true self, okay? But you have to be comfortable with the fact that it's uncomfortable. Okay, the second thing, aside from loss of identity, is that waking up, the process of becoming conscious, as well as being conscious out the other side in everyday life, can be lonely. Why can it be lonely? Well, not everybody around you is going to have gone through an awakening. It's going to be living consciously, and so they may just not get you. And you may not feel like that they know what you're going through, and they may not be interested in the same things as you are now. And so you can start to feel like you're in this on your own. And what I want to remind you is this: you are not alone. Because everybody around the world goes through this at some point. So you may not have people like in your actual family and friends and workplace who've been through that, but everyone in my community at Simply Living is at some stage of waking up, being conscious, going through that whole gig. And there are literally millions of people around the world who have woken up and who have been through everything that you're going through. And I just want you to remember you're not alone, okay? And you have to accept another thing about this whole loneliness transition phase is that you go within yourself and you're trying to figure things out for yourself. Who am I? How do I fit? How do I live in this world consciously? Now I know what I know. How do I make sense of everything? And how do I deal with the negative things in this world? And how do I, focus on the positive and live my best life and reach my highest potential? You're doing all of that, and you have to accept that sometimes that can require you to go within, and other people can't help you with that. Other people can love you and support you, but no one else can walk the path for you. And there is an inherent loneliness aspect to that, and that you realize only I can do it. I've got to figure it out. Yeah, I can have friends around me who love me while I do it, but ultimately they can't do it for me. I've got to go through my own reflections, my own understanding. I've got to have my own insights, my own aha moments. And that's just how it is, part of the process, okay? The third thing that can happen with this whole becoming conscious thing, and it can be a little bit painful, is that you start to beat yourself up because you look at your past and you see all the things you did when you were unconscious and all the things that you think were mistakes that shouldn't have happened and all the things that you wish had gone differently, and you do this. If only I had known what I know now back then, my life would have been different. I wouldn't have wasted this many years. I wouldn't have gone down that path and had that relationship and mucked that thing up. And we go over and over and we berate ourselves. And all you need to know is that you woke up at exactly the right time. And you are exactly where you need to be. And everything that you learned before you woke up and went through an experience that didn't work for you is part of the colour on the canvas of your life, and it's meant to be there. And now, from the point of being awake, you can say, what did all those things teach me? And let that be my wisdom, and let me be fully present and look forward to the future that's very, very bright for me on the basis that I'm now awake and I have all of this wisdom tucked into my belt. That's all you need to do. It's to learn from it, to let it go, and to look forward. Learn, let go, and look forward. Now, the fourth and final thing that can be really challenging on the journey when we wake up is that we start to see negativity everywhere. Just kind of funny because you think, oh, I become this awakened, enlightened, conscious person. I'm just going to see beauty everywhere. And you do. You see beauty everywhere. You're like, there's miracles everywhere. How are people not seeing this? Everything starts blowing your mind. And it's so exciting and it's so overwhelming. Like I remember literally sitting in front of a plant in my garden, and there was a caterpillar on the plant. And I was going through this intense awakening process, and I was looking at this caterpillar, and I kid you not, I was crying. And I thought, what has happened to me? What has happened to me? I'm crying about this caterpillar. It was so beautiful, and there were cocooned butterflies next to it. And I just remember thinking it was so beautiful. But at the same time, as well as seeing beauty everywhere, here's what happens. What's happening is you're becoming acutely aware of everything. That's what's happening. You're becoming acutely conscious of everything. And so the miracles and the blessings and the beauty have always been there, but now you see them more. But the challenge is you can't exclude things from your new sight. And so now you see more of everything that's there, including the negativity. Now you start to realize, oh my gosh, some people in my social circle are really negative, or oh my gosh, my workplace is actually quite toxic, or oh my gosh, really, society has got so many problems, and it becomes a little overwhelming. And you start to feel helpless, like I know these things, I'm trying to help myself, but I can't do anything in the wave of all this negativity, and how am I going to be a conscious being and be love and light and all these things amongst all this negativity? And what you have to appreciate is that part of being a conscious human being is accepting the isness of everything. And that is that this world is partly dark and it's partly light. I am partly dark and I'm partly light. You're partly dark and you're partly light. Everybody has the capacity for negativity and positivity, for dark and light, and both coexist on this planet all the time. And here's the thing, you have to accept what is, otherwise you're going to be in pain. So accept that that stuff exists. There's nothing wrong with it. The second you say it shouldn't be and it's wrong, you'll be in pain. It's not that it shouldn't be, it is. And so it is. So it shouldn't be any other way because it is. And it's human nature and it's human society and it's human existence. However, you will get what you look for. So if you get very frustrated and upset with the negativity, you'll look for it, you'll talk about it, and you'll get dragged into it, and you'll see more of it, and you will slowly get more and more unconscious. So what you want to do is look for what you want to say, acknowledge negativity exists, and look for what you want to say, and be the demonstration of what you want to say. So I hope these 4 tips have been helpful for you around 4 really common painful side effects of being conscious and waking up and living this way in the world, and ways that you can deal with them and things that are helpful to remember. If you are watching this on social media and you're not my website, you definitely want to jump over to the website because I've got a whole blog article and a lot of written resources and tips for you to support you with this. This has been a pleasure to share it with you, and I'm looking forward to bringing you more daily inspiration really soon.